Okay, this is Coach Tom from Body Physics Endurance Coaching, and I'm going to cover Nordic walking poles. We can use them for general fitness. They're also very, very helpful for Nordic ski training when we do moose hoofs or bounding. And then most importantly, for the majority of this audience, they're real important for ultra marathons, ultra running, where you've got sections where it's tricky terrain, or you just need to give your legs a little bit of a break, and they make a huge difference. So I've got three different sets of Nordic poles here. We're going to start with the heaviest and probably the least expensive. These are kind of traditional old-fashioned cross-country ski pole grips, and you just basically loosen this up, and it's listed right here what the height is. For me, about 125 centimeters allows me to be at about a 90 degrees when I pull through. This little strap allows me to I come up and under and grab on. That allows me to have a good grip. This one's already set at 125, and it's opposite arm, opposite leg, so it lands at a little bit of a downward angle, and I can push. I don't want to have a death grip that's going to end up eventually giving me tendonitis. So these are the least expensive. They're a little bit heavier, they're a little bit bulkier, but they're very, very simple to use. When we bring them down, they don't get very short. Now these are 120, and they're a fixed height. So you can see these don't fold into your backpack as much. These are made by Swix. These I wouldn't necessarily use for an ultra because they don't close up small enough, so we want to pay attention to that. But if you knew that you were going to use them the whole time, these would be pretty sturdy. Now on these, they have more of a more modern cross-country ski grip. We loop that around, it velcros, there's a right and left side, and then I can have a real relaxed hand, and as I bring it through and pop my palm down, it hits the ground, and I can just push down and push through, engaging my obliques and my lats, tricep, as I'm pushing through. So left and right, and these are a fixed height. Okay, and I'm opposite arm, opposite leg. One of the other neat features of this particular one is that it has both a rubber side, and then there's a little button here. You can push that button in and rotate it, and then you've got more of a carbide tip, so if you're on dirt or limestone, it digs in. If you're in the Rocky Mountains, this may be helpful, but when you get to the rocks, more of a boulder field or something like that, you may want to turn it around and use this. If you're doing an ultra along the lakefront in Chicago or one of the asphalt trails, then this would be better. But again, this is a fixed height, so you don't have a lot of variability in carrying it, putting it in your camelback when you're walking. So if I slide those out, the last set also have the cross-country ski more modern grips. They have a little button here, and that loop slides in and out. These also come with a pair of gloves that have a clip too, so if it's a little bit cold or you start to get a little bit of raw skin from, you know, maybe a 100-miler, and you're using these a lot, you might not want to use these. You might want to have a regular pair of gloves, and in those gloves they also have the hook, and Lecky makes that. So that just kind of goes on. This allows me to reach back and get my drink or anything like that. Now, this one also has numbers here, and it closes all the way down to, you know, past 100. So if you compare the height of the other two, you can see that this one's noticeably smaller and easier to sit in your camelback while you're walking, and then when you, or jogging, and then all of a sudden when you need it, you can take it out. It's pretty quick to expand. My height is 125 for me. Slide this right in. I go ahead and slide my thumb in that grip. It's marked right and left. There are size charts for the size of your hand, and I've got my 90 degrees. We want to make sure that it's not much higher because I don't want to elevate my shoulder. Elevating my shoulder, that's where it's least supported. You get outside of your athletic box where you'd arm wrestle and you're strong, and that's where if you start to fall and your shoulder's elevated, you could have a dislocation. So we want to make sure that it's staying in our athletic box, and we're right here like this. So I am going to walk away from you and walk toward you, and then I'm going to walk at an angle so that you can see what that form looks like. So we're just here. So it lands at an angle, and it lands right in the middle, and it helps support me, take some of the weight off my legs, gives me a little break in a long trek, hike, or ultra. Plus it gives me a little balance when I'm getting a little bit unstable or the terrain is. Last but not least, if you watch me walking across, and these are light enough that I can run with them too. And when I'm running, I don't have to grip very hard. I kind of bring that through and pop my heel of my hand, and it lands pretty much where it needs to be. Some people have a little trouble with the coordination. It's just like marching, opposite arm, opposite hand. But we'll see people that are kind of doing it the wrong way. That makes your lower back be more of a fulcrum. It looks awkward, and it is awkward on the back, and it isn't as helpful. So if we're doing this, that's not the way we want to do it. We want to actually be opposite. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful, and I will probably go over another video like this with moose hoofs where we're doing ski bounding or running with these uphill or even on flat terrain on grass like this. But hopefully that helps you, those of you that are using these for long treks and for ultra running races.